My traditional name is Aquilano. I come from the Musqueam people, people who have lived in this territory for close to 5,000 years, unceded territory, and I thank the City of Vancouver. I thank the organizers of Walk21 for recognizing that. So what we usually do is we get invited to do an opening welcome, to welcome you to our territory. And we always look at that as a symbolic way of recognizing who we are as First Nations people. But to me now, it means much more than that to me. It allows me as a Musqueam person to come to you and to learn a little bit more about who you are, what you're doing here, why you've come to our city. And I take home with me this brochure, this organizational chart that I can bring back to my people and show them what's going on in and around our town. Because that's really what's important now. It's important to recognize our past, but to move forward and building new relationships, not only between Musqueam and the City of Vancouver, but Musqueam and people right around the world. Because we recognize the importance of allowing the Musqueam people to share with you our culture. That's why I brought my son yesterday, just to share a little bit about who we are. Because for far too long, we weren't allowed to share that. But now we embrace it again. And we want you to embrace it as well. We ask you to be witnesses, to say the Musqueam people and the City of Vancouver are working together. They're getting past what was a shameful past many years ago, and we're creating new relationships. In our culture, we didn't have a written language. What we had was an oral tradition. So we asked people to come to our longhouses and witness what was going on. So I ask you, as delegates from around the country and around the world, to witness today what is happening here in the City of Vancouver, to witness how we are reaching out and the city is reaching out to us to build those new relationships. So I thank you all again on behalf of my community. I thank you all for coming here, for sharing some time with us, and I hope you enjoy your time here. And once again, like I said last night, in our culture, in our language, we say haichika, which is thank you. So I say haichika to each and every one of you, and I hope to see you again in the very near future. Thank you very much.
So thank you, Councillor Grant. Thank you for honoring us with your welcome. And especially thank you for sharing the dance last night that your son performed. That was outstanding. We have an incredible program this year. We have over 200 presenters from 20 or 22 different countries, 27 workshops, and lots and lots of networking opportunities. This is about partnerships. This is about getting to know each other. This is about sharing ideas. It's about sharing culture. My name is Neil Carley. I work for the City of Vancouver, and I am the streets engineer. I build roads for automobiles. Oh, good, I got a reaction, excellent. That statement is actually only partly true. About two decades ago, that would have been absolutely true. In the past, we built streets for automobiles. Unfortunately, that's still the mentality in some areas, but it's starting to diminish. We actually build streets for people. Some of that use is for the automobile, but we actually build streets for all different purposes. And we're actually getting beyond the automobile. We're getting beyond transportation. Sorry to my transportation colleagues. We're building spaces for public realm where people want to be, to build healthy communities, to build healthy neighborhoods. So it is kind of interesting that we have a streets engineer opening up this conference. It's interesting, we are transforming a space that used to be reserved for the automobile into spaces for people. So we really truly are transforming the automobile city into a people city. This transformation is about vision. And I thank you all for being here because it's your collective vision that's going to get us there. The vision for this conference really came about by one individual. She had a passion, an energy, a drive that was going to bring this conference here to Vancouver. And she got the rest of us, and not just the city of Vancouver, but the region, involved and energized, and that's what we have. So through her passion, her energy, and her admiration of the great work of Walk21, we have achieved this vision to bring Walk21 here, and we're going to continue on with a regional Walk21 committee that we're going to continue on this great work here in British Columbia for decades. So that's a great start. I welcome Sandy James, our local visionary and Walk21 director, and Rodney Tolley, director of Walk21, to come up and say a few words. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Neil. As you can see, everyone has to have rain gear today for the workshops. I really want to thank you so much. I feel like you've all come to spend some time in our living room, and we like to think that our living room is our city. So I really welcome you, and I thank you so much for coming to be part of this great Congress. I also wanted to say that the conference today is really unusual for conferences and also very unusual for Walk21. It's actually a host of local authorities that have brought this conference here, and they include the 2 health authorities, the 2 universities, the local municipal governments, the Regional Transit Authority, and the regional government for Metro Vancouver. And so I just want to take a moment and thank them very much for their work in this committee and making this happen. I'd also like to introduce you to Dr. Rodney Tolley, who's an extraordinary person. He knows more about walking and pedestrianism than anyone I know in the world, and it's just a delight and honor to have him here. He's also responsible for helping us through with the conference program, and I think you'll agree with me that it's just a fabulous program. So without further ado, may I introduce Dr. Rodney Tolley. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. I'm not going to say a great deal, but I just wanted to plug you all in to where we are with the Walk21 conference series. For many of you in the room, this will be your first attendance at a Walk21, so welcome. I hope to meet many of you over the next 3 days. But just to put this in some context, this is the 12th International Conference on Walking and Livable Communities that has rolled around Australia and Europe and North America over the last decade. And Canada now becomes the third country, yes indeed, to hold the conference in its borders twice. So welcome to you. I hope you enjoy the program that has been set out for you. We've got an enormous amount there of pachachkas and breakouts and workshops and plenaries and so on. So if you do enjoy that cornucopia of delights which is there for you, these are the people that you need to thank. The steering committee, of course, chaired by Sandy James, is responsible for the overall conference, but the detailed program committee work was done by these people who are listed in your brochure and pictured in front of you. If they're in the room, please, would those people stand up and receive a round of applause for the voluntary work they've done to create an outstanding program. Thank you, program committee. So if you bump into them during the conference and you're enjoying what you're seeing, then please shake them by the hand and thank them for their work. And from me, that's all I want to say to you all. A very warm welcome from Walk21. Thank you.
Thank you, Rodney. Thank you, Sandy. I'd like now to invite Jim Walker up. Jim is the CEO of Walk England and chair of Walk21. Jim is the original visionary behind Walk21, and through his inspiration, he's touched and inspired thousands, even a streets engineer like me. So, Jim?
It's great having an engineer here, isn't it? But I'm sure there's some planners here as well, aren't there? Put up your hands if you're a planner. There you go. I knew you were there. I know if you don't get mentioned, you feel a bit left out. So, but Sandy's a planner, okay? So, This is going to be very short, but I wanted to recognise those who weren't there last night, that I think for one of the first times we've actually had the Mayor sign the Charter at the beginning of the conference, not at the end. And that was fantastic. And it is definitely a first that we've got the Mayor twice to one of our events in the 12 years. So not only did he give up his Sunday evening to be with us last night, but he's managed to fit in his busy schedule to come with us this morning. So I wanted to invite Mayor Gregor Robertson to come up on stage and to show the Charter one more time. We're going to have a pretty picture in a minute, but before I do, I just wanted to recognise that really what we talked about last night was this Charter represents like the wedding vows, I suppose, of the sort of formula to a successful partnership. A partnership that needs to involve, yes, a visionary leader like the Mayor here in Vancouver, but also make sure that the technical officers who I know are involved in this city, right the way across all those departments and across all those districts, that they're in that marriage as well, and very much so with the community. And together, it's how that's going to work. So I hope, like having had the wedding reception last night, that that we can put this over the top of your desk instead of maybe over the bed. But I'll spare you that. But put it over the top of your desk, and I hope that for many years we can have that continue our happy marriage for the people of Vancouver. Thank you. Yeah, I thought we just put that on there, and we have a little. Quick, pretty picture.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you. John too.
I just have a gift of welcome and thanks to Jim and the team at Walk21 for coming to Vancouver, choosing Vancouver, inviting us all to be together on this most important of subjects affecting cities all over the world. So just a modest gift from the city of Vancouver.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Jim?
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks. Okay.
I'll just say a few words of welcome. First of all, I'll say Hajka, thank you to Wade Grant, Councillor Wade Grant from Musqueam, and thank all of the Coast Salish First Nations, the Musqueam, the Tsleil-Waututh, and Squamish, on whose traditional territories we are gathered today. And welcome to all of you from all over the world, the 25 plus countries I understand, and there's some potent locals here as well who've been real advocates for change, and particularly for making sure that people can walk around our city, our region, our province. It is a top transportation priority in the city of Vancouver, and that's something that goes back, certainly predates me as mayor and many of the staff working at the city now. This has been a top transportation priority for many years at the city of Vancouver. So there's a legacy here in our city of prioritizing walking. And that doesn't mean we have it all figured out by any stretch. We still have lots of challenges, lots of safety and convenience issues. We're still focused at the young and aging ends of the spectrum, and trying to encourage kids to walk or ride their bikes to school, and have walking school buses. There's a constant challenge to encourage more and more of that. And as well on the seniors end of the spectrum, making sure that there's good walking paths around our city, and that we continue to build our greenways network. So we have right now 65 kilometers of greenways that connect our parks, our community centers, schools, neighborhoods. A key piece of stitching the city together with good walking paths. We're very blessed to have an incredible seawall that stretches about 26 kilometers along the waterfront around Stanley Park and False Creek, and then some little pockets of it that carry on out to the west to UBC and then up the Fraser River. So we've still got some chunks of that in the years ahead. That took about 70 years of commitment. So generations of government, generations of community involvement and advocacy to make sure that our waterfront is accessible by foot. And if any of you made it onto the seawall, how many people were on the seawall this weekend? Managed to experience it? All right, that's great. It's a popular place to be in Vancouver, and there are lots of trails through the park that connect to parts of the seawall as well that are actually a lot less busy if you want to go back and wander through the old growth forests of Stanley Park. That is highly recommended. Not many cities in the world with trees in the 500 to 800-year-old range and on nice walking paths. So this is a priority from the old growth forest to downtown pavement, and trying to make sure that our city is safe for people to walk and that we encourage that. We have a lot of work to do across the region. We're very thankful to have partners from around the region and the health authorities, TransLink, our transportation authority, and the other cities and towns around the region as we look to having a really comprehensive network to walk around the region. The distances, as with many cities, get significant, but the important thing is having that complement of transit, walking, cycling that connect through all of the cities around our region. And we still have lots of work to do on that front, and an active debate on how we finance and fund the ongoing growth of that network, a sustainable transportation network. So I welcome you all here. It's fantastic to have so much expertise from around the world. We're thrilled to be joining cities all over the world who have hosted Walk21, and notice that there hasn't been an Asian city yet. And Vancouver is very much an Asian city. We're basically about half and half in terms of origin from Europe or Asia. And joining our First Nations here, we'd love to see an Asian city in the Walk21 lineup in the years to come. I think it certainly would be appropriate given the growth and change in Asian cities right now. And hopefully this is part of that bridge and ensuring that that continents all over the world are involved in this and embracing the opportunity. So thanks for being here in Vancouver. Have a wonderful conference. Do lots of walking around our city, and then go make as much change as you can in your cities. Thanks very much for being part of Walk21.
Sorry about that. Thank you very much, Mayor Robertson. Just as staff, it is great to have political leaders who allow us to achieve what the vision, a common vision for our communities, not just as a city, but as a region, so it's fantastic. I now call upon Ian Jarvis, the CEO of TransLink. I'll just say this, Ian and I worked at Metro Vancouver long ago together, and instead of trusting me to say something, he did ask me to read something very specific. I might change it, Ian. So, TransLink, actually TransLink's quite interesting. It is unique in, I would say, the world. It's the only integrated multimodal regional transport system. Because they're unique, they're an innovator. They look after not only the transportation system, which includes buses, a variety of trains, subways, and boats, which is actually kind of fun, but also they look after walking and cycling, goods movement. They look after vehicle emissions. It's quite integrated. It's fantastic. They're also a great partner. That we work very closely with them, and they've been one of the leaders in bringing Walk21 to Vancouver. So, Ian?
I don't have to say anything. Neil said it all for me. So on behalf of TransLink, your Regional Transportation Authority, we're thrilled to have you here today and help our region host Walk21. I mean, I'm especially proud. I'm born and raised here in the Lower Mainland, and I think I have a great job coming to work each and every day, trying to maintain the livability and economic viability of this region that I'm so proud of. Our challenge, like many metropolitan areas, and particularly in North America, it's a vast region that we serve, quite a large service area, and the challenges in each of those components of the region is different. Certainly here in Burrard Peninsula in the city of Vancouver, it's a city that developed around a very effective transportation network, a streetcar network. That development is not only effective in terms of its transit, but walking was an integral and an effective mode. That's here in the Burrard Peninsula. If we go out to other parts of the region, actually an area that I live in, it's a bit different. It's a development that actually happened around after the advent of the automobile. So that challenge for the region, and we have a pretty bold challenge as a region that 30 years out, that greater than 50% of our trips are either going to be by walking, cycling, or transit. And an integral component of being successful on that strategy is integrating and developing infrastructure that enables people to get there by walking. And as we all know, in terms of a transit trip is really a leg in a walking trip, and we want to be mindful of that. So TransLink is committed to working with our partners or municipalities to meet this challenge, and really it's a no-brainer for ourselves to sign the International Charter of Walking. It really depicts and supports our vision as a region and our vision as a transportation organization. So TransLink, we're already working on many of the actions outlined in the Charter. For example, TransLink supports the construction of high-quality pedestrian infrastructure at and around our transit facilities, bridges, and regional greenways. We promote the creation of high-quality pedestrian-friendly places with new design guidelines for passenger facilities and transit-oriented development. And our planning team is designing and implementing a new multimodal wayfinding standard. We support the creation of a culture of walking through targeted marketing and programs such as Travel Smart, which shows people that they have options when it comes to the way they travel. So, from TransLink's perspective, that's just the beginning. We know there's much more that TransLink can and needs to do as an agency as we work together with our partners in this region that we serve. So we're thrilled to have an esteemed group of thinkers and practitioners here with us this week to help chart out a path ahead, and we look forward to the discussion. So thank you for being here and taking time out of your schedule to come and visit our city and talk through the challenges that metropolitan areas have. So thank you.
If I'm on my mic, am I? Or I'm on my mic, okay. You'll recognise that after 12 years of doing this, we don't let anyone come up on the stage without getting them to sign something. We've definitely learned that.
I'm okay as long as it's not a check.
I just want to check that. That is your signature, isn't it? Yeah. But no, I really wanted to thank Ian for signing this. And this is an opportunity. Don't feel as though you're left out here, because everybody in this room, I hope, before the end of the conference will have a chance to sign this themselves and join the family that has now actually become a movement of, I think, more than 3,000 people who've signed this, including mayors across the world, which is just fantastic. But I think, Ian, you're one of the first public transit managers to have signed this. Wow. Which is really quite extraordinary, but slightly embarrassing for us in that we've spent a lot of time over the years talking to walking people. And I think that you'll recognise that when you're working in your own communities, very often we're thinking about what is walking, who's making these walking trips. And it's quite comfortable to think of walking, about a third of walking trips are generally sort of recreational type, walking for walking's sake, because it's just so nice and enjoyable. We recognise too that about a third of those trips are A to B journeys, and we've talked a lot about that. The Mayor's mentioned about the importance of getting streets right, and absolutely we should have Neil here and thank him for his work on getting streets appropriate. But that bit about the other third, the bit that we've sort of haven't ignored but we could do more on, I think is exactly what Ian's representing. The third that says that getting to and from transit is equally important for us to discuss, to have relationships about, and to recognise. And so if we are that oil in his machine, I'm really glad that you've been such a strong supporter, given us your signature, and I look forward to you inspiring, I hope, many other public transit managers around the world to give us their signature as well. So thank you.
Thanks very much, Jim.
Thank you. We'll put this up here. Okay. One more picture.
Take my glasses off for my mother.
Thank you. Thanks.
And actually, before you go, on behalf of the TransLink team, we have a little token of our appreciation for your efforts this week.
Yeah.
I better check. Yeah, no check.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Jim.
Thank you.
And Neil, you also build roads for buses to, you know?